All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Darren had to step away for a few minutes. He'll be back right by the end of the meeting. Brief recap of why we're here today pretty much is the secondary roads budget that needs approved by tomorrow. We went on ahead and had a few things thrown on today, just to alleviate a little bit for next week. So first item is approval of the agenda. Move to approve. Second. Those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Minutes, the April 4th, 2023 board meeting. Move to approve. Second. Those in favor? Aye. Aye. Resolution number 22, 2023 Pioneer Ridge Campground Destination Iowa Program Funds 2023. This was brought to us as a recommendation really from another county to make sure that we did a resolution accepting these. Yep, accepting these funds and the red tape that goes with it. So not a ton, but
Now we go, right?
yes, we will. We've worked through a little bit of it with the facility already on the procurement stuff and everything. So doesn't seem like it's going to be too terribly stringent, nothing more than what the counties would have to do pretty much regularly on it. So. I'll move to approve. Second, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Resolution number 23, 2023 opioid agreement with Cuba Pharmaceutical Industries, Ltd., Allergen Finance, LLC, Walgreens Company, Walmart Inc., CVS Health Corporation, and CVS Pharmacy. Kelly, you want to give them just a brief on what this actually is?
So basically it's just they're including other pharmaceutical companies in on the opioid lawsuit that they had. So we're just adding the ones listed there to what we already have. And we have to pass this resolution to receive the money. So we're not sure what we're gonna do. We can spend it on yet.
Okay.
But
I'll move to approve. Second, any further discussion? Those in favor, say aye. 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 Approval of the county 5-year plan for FY 24.
This here is the annual 5-year plan for construction over the next 5 years. The secondary roads will be doing and spending our money on. This is not maintenance. This is only construction. Any questions, concerns?
Were there any major changes from like the previous?
Outside of the Monroe Wapello County Road, Blythesburg North. Not really. The Kirkville Road, I think we moved those up a few years and we backed off some few other roads, but
Same projects, just kind of.
yes. Right now, one of the projects with change was the Monroe County line run from Blythesburg North. I've got through the second round of a grant application for $3 million from the state of Iowa. That project, to get that grant, I had to expand the scope of what I was going to do. So it's actually going to go from the railroad track south of Blythesburg through Blythesburg all the way up to 34. That gave us a lot more points in that application to get that money. And then we will have to sit down and with Blythesburg eventually to work through an agreement here fairly shortly on how our end of it's going to get funded and paid. Because we do have a 28E agreement with them. Yeah, but that's in the future. There's nothing really changed. We're going to try to do an annual rock haul, but see where our funds end up, I guess.
Any other questions?
Jeff, would you say that's the biggest project in this 5-year plan?
No, the biggest project's the Eldon Bridge. That's at the very end, and it is an illustrative project. Not saying that we'll get done in 5 years, but we have to start planning for it, and that is part of that plan.
87th Street, I think, is on there still, right? That's
87th Street.
Yeah,
That's
another big
a
one.
10.3 mile project. We're gonna have to look at funding options on that one.
Yep.
Kirkville, 63 north to Kirkville. Kirkville north up to the county line, that's already been let. Haskell County's gonna do that one, but we're gonna pay for our share of it. Sycamore Road, Agency Road. Or the Ashland, I should say, not the agency, but. Then a lot of bridges.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion on that yet?
I'll move to approve.
Second? There's no further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of the FY 24 secondary roads Iowa DOT budget.
And this is just the annual budget that we have to approve every year by the 15th. And this is, so it's not our county budget, but it is our DOT budget.
I'll move to approve.
Second, any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Number 7, 28E agreement for contract patrol with City of Eddyville.
This is, we increased the, what the city's paying the county for their law enforcement by 10%, so it just reflects that in the contract. You know, we did the contract for 2 years and then renew each year after that. The one thing I did change is if the city of Eddyville or the county was decide not to do it any longer, that had to be made by December of the current fiscal year we're in. That way, you know, each of us are doing our budgets at that time. So I just had that put in there, and then it's still for 60 hours a month for them.
Move to approve.
Second, any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Approve agreement between Wapello County and ASME Local 616 secondary road working out.
Monday, first Monday of this month, the union voted to seek a 10-hour workday week, 4/10s or 4/10s instead of 5/8s. This is just an agreement to amend that contract to start on Memorial Day and end Labor Day.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there a possible way, this was brought up to me by a citizen, is there a possible way to almost split the people that'll be under this and do almost like a rotation to where we still will have some people working on Fridays?
We could, however, those 2 days, we're only gonna be working with half a force, and it wouldn't be.
I understand, but I think if anything comes up, at least you have someone there that you're not dealing with overtime,
Right.
bringing people in on. The idea that they'd had, and I didn't sit down and pencil it out on it, but was like, say you have an A and a B. So this week, A will work Monday through Thursday, B works Tuesday to Friday. So they still have a 3-day weekend, but every 2 weeks, you'd end up with a 4-day weekend. Or every 3 weeks, once a month, something like that. It would eventually, it would go to where there'd be
Right.
times where they'd actually have a 4-day weekend. Cause they'd have Friday off this week, Monday off the next week.
Personally, I don't think it would be it would do a more hindrance to our actual production. And it's something we could look at.
Okay.
I don't know of any other county or the DOT does not do that. It is something we could look into and do. I'm not gonna say no.
Well, I don't have a problem with the 410s. I just, like I said, a lot of my issue always was, if they want,
Rained on Monday.
if you wanna take Wednesday off, great. You don't have 3 days in a row that we're sitting without people, because a few years ago, the only time we could get guys on the roads was the weekends. Well, it wasn't a few years ago, it was last fall, I believe. Last spring or last fall, where we brought guys in on Saturday and Sunday a couple weeks
Yeah,
to get the roads.
because we were hauling we were hauling a lot of rock.
right.
Yes.
So I think it's one of those that we deal with that in a way every year. To some extent, and with going to a 4-day and taking that other day off, you know,
Yeah.
now you got 3 days of potential overtime pay.
Mhm. So most of what that happened last year, that all happened prior to Memorial Day. It may have went into a little bit into June.
Okay,
But the intent is that let Memorial Day to Labor Day is our dry period. When we see the least amount of
right,
rain. I think, last year we were hauling rock all day, all spring. We were hauling 5+
right.
the extra overtime. We weren't necessarily shut down unless there was a rain event,
Well, we
it's.
hauled a lot of rock since July 1 too, because we were at 700,000
Oh, yeah,
out of an $800,000 budget. In
but I think
January.
overtime was more in the previous fiscal year.
Okay.
Would
Just an idea.
would you be willing,
I would have to look into it.
would you be willing to talk to some of the employees and see what they say? to this?
I did ask them if they wanted Fridays or if it was Mondays. The overwhelming result that I've gotten is Monday through Thursday. If most likely it will not go with the thing. But I've never asked them about the alternating. Few people have brought that up, but I don't necessarily know if the union would go for that underneath this current contract. You know, that's something we could look at contracting.
So you're telling me if we said you can work a 4-day work week, but it's got to be Tuesday through Friday, they'd say no?
Possibly. I don't know. It's never been, I asked that question to a few people and they told me I can only go with that. What they.
Well,
told
we
me.
could just not approve it today then, and
Okay.
we're not go that route with it.
I can ask.
It's not a huge deal.
No,
I don't like that attitude sometimes.
but that wasn't an official answer. That was only through a few employees, not the actual body of the union.
I'm fine with doing it and progressing and we'll try it for this year. If it don't work, we don't have to do it next year.
And we can, and also I believe in it at any point in time, if it's not working out, either party can change that. I believe that's in one of the last paragraphs, just by a written notice, like 2
Yeah,
weeks in
so it
advance.
could be voided on Thursday.
Yeah.
For Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So either party could void this and say, no, this is not something working out.
I don't have an issue with it. I'd make the motion.
You're on number 8, right?
Yeah.
Okay, second.
Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Discussion of possible action on county conservation trust. I would motion that we table this. We're gonna do it. I'll say that. Legally, we have to do it. But do we do it at 100%? Do we do it at 50%? That is up to us on how much of it goes into the trust. So I think I don't want to tie us into 100% on something and, 10 years down the road, like Supervisor Ziegler brought up, and I agree with, I'd love for you guys to increase your revenue to the point to where you're self-sustaining. I know one of the comments that I read from another county was that's what the board there does. And the county conservation wasn't happy with that because they wasn't then getting the funding from the county on it. So I'd rather be able to work both ways maybe on it. So it's gonna get done. We just need to work out the contract on it.
Or the agreement.
The agreement, correct. So I'd motion to table it.
Can you add that to the motion though, where we agree to create an agreement?
No, I'll motion to table it.
Okay.
Because it doesn't make a difference. We're not
Okay. In the meantime, we need to work on this agreement.
correct.
Okay, that's fine. I'll second it.
All right, those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, other business, third quarter cash report for FY 22-23 in the auditor's office. Move to accept and file.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Recorder's report of fees collected and dispersed third quarter 22-23. I'd move to accept and file.
Second.
Anything to add?
Recording is down, but our passports were up, so not enough offset, but.
Do you see the recordings going down more and more?
All across the state.
Sure.
That's- it's recording down, it's just the market is not there. They did send an email out the other day about passports, a lot of the offices that are doing passports with an increase. And I went back and looked, and Lisa, my part-time that left, did the majority of them for the first quarter. We had 126. We had 59 the previous quarter. So we almost
Double.
tripled. Now, but she's going on. So, and she will probably continue to do.
And that's posted, I seen.
Yes.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That's all the business we have to act on. Do we need to adjourn the meeting to go into the work session? Won't be closed, but. So I'll make a motion to adjourn. Unless there's any other comments or anything, Chad, anything, unless there's any other. Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. Work session.